Hello everyone, it's Elizabeth. Welcome to Xanadu, the magical land where we only talk about movies. My last review video did pretty well, because even though I liked the movie I saw, I did have to be critical on a few points, a few points of it. But I think that's healthy for reviewer people, like me and others, to be completely honest, because it was honest, and to not only talk about movies that you love, to be more colorful. But don't worry, I'm not doing one of those right now. I'm going to be talking with you about the Frighteners. Yes, the Frighteners, and I have the soundtrack playing in the background right now to feel the mood. Yeah. So, turn up your volume, sit down, and let's talk about the Frighteners, shall we? Also, this movie has an incredible movie score. That is one of the reasons why I wanted the soundtrack. And it also has the Don't Fear the Reaper song in the end of it too, which is really nice, because I love that song, and both of the versions I love it. But so yeah, it has great music that really puts it all together. It makes it funny, scary, just everything. This movie is one of the best movies on the face of the universe. I can honestly say that, in my opinion. Some other people were sort of critical about it, but I'm going to try not to be biased, because this movie is one of the movies that I would watch all the time when I was a little girl. So you could say, oh, well, of course you love the movie because you watched it when you were little. But no, I'm going to be completely honest about this movie, okay? And honestly, I love it, okay? I love it. It stars Michael J. Fox and loads of other people. I mean, just so many amazing people that played all of the characters so well. I love everyone in this movie. It's got the kind of characters you can just love, and hate. So, it is a supernatural story, filmed in 1995, came out in 1996, about a very troubled and misunderstood man, Frank Bannister, and I love Frank. He's very relatable, and he's sort of a sad character, but he's very badass still. Michael J. Fox played him wonderfully. And his troubled story, where he for a long time has been able to see the dead, spirits. And it's not, at first it's not exactly like, it's not exactly sure where he got that power. Was he born with it when he was a child, or baby, or did something happen to him to make him see spirits, or was he cursed or something? And that ends up being said later on. He used to have a wife who died, and he's a total anti-social person. And he's broke. He's friends with some of the spirits, and they help him to sort of like do a ghost-busting business. So he pretends he's like a ghostbuster, and his ghost friends start haunting people's houses, so they would call him, and he'd, quote, get rid of the spirits and charge a ridiculous amount of money for it. That's the only way he'll be able to finish his house that he's trying to finish building. It was his and his wife's dream home. And he meets some people. One of the other people that he meets is a woman named Lucy, and her husband, oh man, Ray. He's crazy.
He's alive! Ray, get me up!
He's a jerk, but he's funny. He meets these people, in one of his ghost-busting businesses, and then he sees a weird number on Ray's head. And he's not exactly sure what that means until he later realizes that Ray is dead. Afterwards, Ray dies, and him and Lucy get acquainted and sort of become sort of liking to one another fairly quickly. And Ray as a spirit is hilarious. And I love Lucy. She's beautiful and smart, and she's tough, and she searches for the truth. And she's just really, and the actress who played her, she's really fun character.
Turn this car around and take me back.
I intend to, Mrs. Linsky. In exactly 11 hours' time.
Son of a bitch!
And everything starts going crazy when Frank encounters sort of a devilish spirit who's portraying himself as the Reaper, the angel of death. And he sort of goes at odds with this thing, trying to keep him from killing people, because he sees this thing coming and killing people. And there's this awesome scene in the bathroom. He tries to help this guy and it doesn't work, and the Reaper kills this man and he goes off to heaven, goes into the light. So at that night at a party, when the man goes up into heaven, Frank runs out of the restaurant and gets called as a suspect in a murder. And they're talking to Lucy and talking about Frank's past. And she's like, no, he would never kill anyone. You just have no faith in his power whatsoever, because he tells her about his powers and she truly believes him and doesn't believe that he would be an evil guy, because they're trying to convince her that he killed his wife. And the guy who comes in as the detective on this new case or whatever on Frank Bannister, he sort of studied him. And this man is one of the freakiest people you will ever see in a movie. I love the part when he's all like,
Sheriff Perry, you are violating my territorial bubble.
oh man, he's just so crazy. And the reason why he's got like this Hitler haircut, he's got a swastika, the Nazi symbol tattooed on his hand. And it's not because he's a Nazi member or anything. Is that he is crazy and weird and sort of psychotic, because he's for 20 or something years he's been going undercover as many other people. He's been sort of a sex slave to a cult, a Nazi member. He's gone through hell. So that's why he is absolutely crazy. And he is convinced that Frank murdered his wife and that he's a psychopath. And there's this woman, Patricia, played by Dee Wallace. She was sort of there when, years ago, when she was a girl, her boyfriend was psychotic and took her to a mental hospital, just a hospital, and murdered loads of people. It was a massacre. And Lucy tries to help her because she's not allowed to leave the house, and her mom is crazy and is kind of evil looking. And this Reaper seems to have connection with Patricia in the house. And so there are going to be spoilers in this video. I'm sorry, but spoilers is Frank did not kill his wife. The Reaper in the story killed his wife. And who is the Reaper?
Johnny Bartlett.
Patricia's boyfriend. And they're a gruesome twosome. They're a couple. Still, even after death. This gruesome twosome wants to, even after he got killed by the electric chair, him and her are continuing their numbers. They're still killing people by the numbers, literally. because they would carve their next victim on their forehead, or spiritually Frank can see that, because he can see which person's going to be next by the number. And Patricia and him as a ghost, that year, killed Frank's wife. And because they got in a car accident, and that's what flew her out of the car, and Patricia and her boyfriend kill his wife.
You killed her.
And Frank was just so traumatized by it, and after that traumatic experience, he was able to see ghosts, and that's why he's able to see ghosts. So him and Lucy team up and figure out these truths, and Lucy realizes that Patricia is a psychopath, and there's this whole great chase scene, and it's so funny and so scary and so twisted and so lovely. And especially since this is kind of an old movie now, the effects in this movie, some people would say that it's not very good, but at the sort of level of detail that this movie needed to be in, they did the best that they could. And I really thought, for years I've always thought the special effects in this movie was fabulous, was great. To me, it's just about as good as what people do nowadays. And people nowadays, I think, go way too far and even don't do a very good job now. The effects in this movie are really good. The Reaper is freaky, and the acting is perfect. And the directing by Peter Jackson and Robert Zemeckis, I think. I can't say his name. But he's done loads of movies, well as Death Becomes Her and What Lies Beneath and Back to the Future. So I have the director's cut right here. I grew up with the original version, but right now I favor the director's cut because it has extra scenes. And so all of these sort of bad guys and good guys and just weird characters all end up sort of coming together in the end of the movie. And because after the Reaper is revealed and after Patricia's real intentions are revealed, and the Reaper wants to kill Lucy, and Frank has to sort of redeem himself from this guilt and pain he's had for the longest time, to sort of have life, to stop the bad guys and actually have a life. And maybe with Lucy. So it's just a really great movie. I would give it 11 or 13 out of 10, if I could. If it was like 13, I would give it a 13. It was filmed in New Zealand. Perfect setting, the costumes, and the house of Patricia's. I want that house. I want to live in that house, man. Oh, I want to live in it. And one of my favorite scenes is when his first sort of fight with the Reaper, the guy, the psycho guy, and he's got this woman in the car because he was saving her because the bad guy, the bad spirit, was going to kill her. And even though everyone else thinks he's crazy, he just grabs her and puts her in a car and starts driving, and there's this whole, chase thing, and he's sort of a bad driver.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God, I don't believe this. This is not happening!
Or he doesn't care or whatever. And I just love this scene where all of a sudden he starts like kind of hallucinating, and it's almost as if he's reliving what happened to him and his wife. And oh my gosh, it's just so... And then they crash, and then he sees the woman, and he looks and sees the woman getting killed by the Reaper, and he just starts running in the woods. It's like exactly what happened, except it happened to him and his wife, not just a random lady. So that was intense. This movie is definitely made with love. I really recommend this movie to everyone. So yeah, The Frighteners. And I would suggest getting the director's cut also. So yeah, whatever you do, you need to see this movie, definitely. Before I go, I am going to do a Q&A video. And so I want you, whoever is watching, I don't care if you don't know me or whatever, I want you to just take the information, you know, from this video about me, whatever. Go to the comment section below and ask me anything you want. You can I am a writer, amateur writer, but I love writing, I love acting, I love singing. Basically, I sing opera mostly. But you can ask me about my obsession with Edward Furlong or Fan of the Opera, Sierra Bogus, The Frighteners, Poison Ivy, how I got my tattoo, and anything. I mean, if you don't know how I got my tattoo, then you need to watch the video where I got my tattoo, okay? And you can ask me about my stories. I'm writing one called The Adventures of Fanny and Susie, Volume 1. And you can also ask me about my video series, Sydney and Jamie or John and Jamie. You can ask me anything about those because I need to do more of those, and I will do soon. But you can ask me about what I'm going to do with them if you want, whatever. So you need to see The Frighteners, definitely. And go on with your questions. Okay? Have fun! Also, I want to give a shout out to Chelsea, Sam, and Cheyenne. Hi, guys! Because they wanted me to do this review video about The Frighteners. So I'm doing a shout out to you guys. So yeah, thank you very much. And namaste. And remember, you are enough. You are so enough. It's unbelievable how enough you are.
I'm doing this? I'm doing this? I'm making the car move with the power of my mind? Yes! No. Wait!